Hi everyone, this is Aaron and welcome back to Ride XP. I want to start this off with a story. A friend of mine was talking to his riding buddy who was raving about how perfect the BMW 1250 GS adventure was, how it made riding so easy and took care of everything for you. But this buddy of mine, who had ridden the 1200-kilometer North Luzon loop twice on a beat-up Vespa S125, just replied, "Edi, ano pang ginagawa mo?" Roughly translated, then what does it leave for you to do? I know, it's a cliche to pick on GSs. This isn't really about that. But this is about the anxiety of needing the perfect motorcycle before doing the rides you've always wanted to do. You know, the one with all the power, comfort, suspension travel, and electronics. Basically, everything to guarantee that nothing unexpected will ever happen on your adventure. There's an idea I picked up from a video about Japanese design philosophy that perfect things actually don't encourage our participation because perfection makes us anxious. We might mess it up because, well, we're human, imperfect. And that hits home for me. You know, especially when I ride premium bikes, I treat them like they're precious because, well, they are. You know, just tweaking a brake lever can be worth thousands of pesos. I'm not rich, and my skill and fear threshold isn't exactly close to Adam Rieman's. And yet, have you noticed? Even he chooses to ride an old Africa Twin. Now, you guys are smart. Most of us already know that chasing the perfect bike is a mirage. And I'm not just talking about something like the BMW 1300 GS. You know, before I bought my Himalayan 450, I kept postponing my dream rides. I told myself I'd do them once I had a proper ADV bike, that my Interceptor 650 wasn't the right tool for the job. And then, I finally, after so much hemming and hawing and decided between that and the 450 MT, I finally got the Himalayan 450. And sure, I've done a few great rides, but frankly, nowhere near as many as I thought I would have by now, owning the bike for nearly a year. And meanwhile, I see all these riders on social media doing these incredible long-distance trips and gnarly off-road routes on stuff like first-gen KTM 390 Dukes, Yamaha XSR 155s, Honda Cub C90s, obscure and ancient-looking Chinese bikes even. On the other side of the spectrum, today I just saw a guy who went around the world on a chopped-up Triumph Scrambler 900. And this isn't about big displacement or small. It's about using the bike you already have and love to ride and embracing its limitations as an integral, nay, essential part of the adventure. And seeing all these guys riding the wrong bikes hit me that the thing holding me back wasn't the bike, it was me. My own unwillingness to wrestle with the imagined difficulties of riding the wrong bike. That realization really came into focus during two recent long rides on my small bikes. The first long trips I'd done on either of them. The first was a 300-kilometer loop on my Vespa Primavera 150. And the other one was nearly 800 kilometers in just 2 days on my Honda CRF 150L that had a tough trail right in the middle. Now, both rides turned out to be way more fun and far easier than I'd expected. And all it took to pull them off was slowing down a bit, resting more often, and leaning into the freedom that small bikes give compared to the big ones. Nobody gonna take my car! You know, if you don't ride, you might not realize just how different it is from being in the safe, quiet cocoon of a car. On a motorcycle, everything matters. Your life is in your hands. You're traveling at speeds humans were never meant to go with little to protect you. So, you don't have the luxury of checking Twitter, obsessing over politics, or someone leaving you on scene. Instead, you're actually here and now. You smell what's around you. You're nudged this way and that by imperfections on the road. You hear every change in elevation and incline from the revs of your engine. Every bike, from 50cc mopeds to the big GSs, has a specific character. It changes how you experience the journey. And again, it starts with the machine and how it's engineered. Maybe it's fast, smooth, and sharp. Maybe it's thumpy and clunky. Maybe it's made for dirt, or maybe it's made for just looking cool. Whatever it is, that same route can feel completely different depending on the bike. What small or simple bikes might lack in comfort, power, or refinement, they give back in human experience. I mean, you feel more, literally and figuratively. Every vibration, every bump, every change in temperature and wind direction, and every drop of rain. Even speed becomes something else. I mean, yes, it's thrilling. That's why we ride motorcycles. But it can also be numbing. Because when you're focused only on getting there fast, you miss the fine details of the journey. The charming little cafe in the middle of the mountain. The tantalizing slice of view between the trees as you pass by. The people going about their business, looking at you curiously. All of this becomes a blur as you go so fast that all you're focused on is not dying. But when you ride slow and need more brakes because you're uncomfortable, you're less isolated, more physically involved, and mentally immersed. Your imagination has more of a chance to fire up. And it sparks something deeper. I'd even call it romance. That feeling of awe and wonder at the mystery unfolding ahead of you. That sensation of being the main character in a great story. All of which brings us back to now. To you and me. And whatever bikes are sitting in our garages. My question for us is, what story do we want to live? If you love your bike, then don't wait for the perfect one to arrive, and don't think about following in others' footsteps. Write your own story. Even if all you've got is a beat-up old 125, that might just be the best place to start. I guess there's real joy in missing out on the latest and the greatest. This isn't a jab at BMWs or any big feature-packed bike. Every motorcycle is a vehicle for a story. But I'm starting to believe that it is the old, slow, and small bikes that leave the most room for imagination because they just don't make as much sense. And every time they come up short, it's on you to fill the gap. But when you do, it's that much more fulfilling, which gives you what motorcycles have actually promised all along: freedom. If you dream of adventure, don't wait for the perfect machine. Use the one you have now. Make sure it's running well, and go find a story to tell. Hey, this has been Aaron, Ride XP, and I hope to see you very soon on another adventure.